Taylor wrote a you to all the fans who had so much to say about her dating Matt Healy. And good for her, because unlike me, I know it took a lot for Taylor to say you.
Welcome to Guys We
Greetings, fuckers. Welcome to another exciting episode of Guys We Fucked.
It's the anti-slut shaming podcast. I'm Corinne Fisher.
I'm Krystyna Hutchinson.
Now, if you want to do the right thing, you are going to fly to Los Angeles.
Look at us. Look at us. May 11th. Saturday. It's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday. You're not working.
You're not doing anything.
Cancel your plans.
It's 9:45 at night.
The Regent Theater.
The Regent Theater, Los Angeles, California. You're familiar with it.
Corinne Fisher's going to be there.
Krystyna Hutchinson's going to be there.
And her story's going to be made. Sorry, I keep saying that. That's terrible. But honestly, if you miss out on the show, you're going to regret it.
You're going to regret it.
When I tell you Corinne and I bring the heat in any live setting, when we're together, fucking shit's explosive.
It's crazy.
You are, and the guests that we have.
Even Netflix, who doesn't like us, they finally said we should probably give them a show.
Yeah.
We're, honestly, we look like jackasses.
Yeah, we're making all their copycat podcasts, part of our festival. So we'll make the original one part of the festival too. And we're like, thank you.
Yes.
We appreciate that.
Yes. We're just calling a nice guy in Vernon's.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you? Happy Valentine's Day.
It's the biggest show we've ever done in Los Angeles.
Yes, we're very excited about it, and it's going to be epic. And so we want to sell it out before the show happens, okay?
Right.
Because all y'all LA people love you. Boy, you're last minute, huh? With the
Ticket
tickets.
sales are good, could be better.
Yeah.
We're
You're
not
gonna shoot a
satisfied
film.
until you're not making it this May.
It's Saturday night. I mean, it's just not. What are you gonna? What are you gonna do?
If you were going to test for that pilot, you would have known.
Yeah. And if you're a man, if you're a straight man, and you want a date, you could say, hey, have you ever heard of this podcast called Guys We Fucked? What? Yeah, they're doing a live show in LA, May 11th, Saturday, 9:30 Regent Theater. Would you want to go? And I mean,
good idea.
That's a good man.
It's a really good
that's
idea.
A good man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a man who cares about women's thoughts.
So we'll see you there.
Yep.
And also, I'll see you on the Eye of the Tiger Tour 2024. We just completed leg one of the tour. Me, Chloe LeBranch. It's a fun time. Let's keep the energy going. Raleigh, North Carolina, April 30th. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, May 1st. Boston, May 2nd. Portland, Oregon, May 14th. San Francisco, May 15th. Sacramento, May 16th. Seattle, Washington, May 17th. And 2 added shows on Saturday, May 18th. Houston, Texas, June 27th, Austin, June 28th and 29th, and rounding it out with Salt Lake City, Utah on September 26th. Tickets available at CorinneFisher.com or in the Linktree link in any of my social media bios. I am at Philanthropy Gal.
I'm at Krystyna Hutch.
Together we're at Guys We Fucked without the U and fucked. And Eric.
I'm at Eric Freddy, ERICFRETTY. People always fuck it up.
You got dates, Eric?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do
where
have
can we
some
see
dates.
you?
Edmonton, June 6th through 9th.
Nice.
And then Minneapolis, end of July. The rest are on my link in my bio on Instagram.
Ooh, too. I'm going to be going to Amsterdam.
That's fun.
I have wanted a European vacation, and London is going to England. I mean, obviously Ireland. I'm like, these are the most beautiful places I've ever fucking seen in my life. I cannot wait to go to Amsterdam.
That's going to be fun.
And we're
Bicycles
gonna
and
go
pot.
And red light district. But I'm so excited to explore European places I haven't been. I'm going to try to do stand up. I have a friend who's a comic who, her and her husband just went, they did like a little tour. So I also want to throw it out there. If you guys have been there and you know like cool, weird shit, I'm going to be doing research until I go in July, but I always like to put feelers out in case people are like, you got to try this. And then when 8 people say the thing, I know that's what I'm going to do. And it never fails. It never fails.
Yeah.
Whenever I go to a city and I'm like, what should I do? I just look for whatever one the 8 people said to do, and that's the one to do. So it's like, I crowdsource my tourism.
Are you going to do the psychedelic truffles?
I'm so excited to go. I don't want to be on psychedelics.
Yeah, that's
So
fair.
no, I'm not gonna. I honestly don't even want to smoke pot. I just want to experience it because I love learning. I love educational trip, and Yeah, I'm so excited. I cannot wait to go to the Anne Frank Museum. Anne Frank.
My mom's been wanting to go so bad.
When I read Anne Frank, Diary of Anne Frank in school, I don't know how, like 9th, 10th grade or no, 9th grade? No, I was like 9 or 10. I don't know how old I was. Who knows? I was a budding teenager, very horny. And it just really inspired me that she just masturbated all the time.
Even though during the Holocaust, she was horny as fuck.
Yeah, and I'm like, girl, I relate.
Yeah.
Not the Holocaust part. However, I relate to like being horny in stressful situations. And it was just so nice to hear like a young woman talking about masturbating that I was like, she means so much to me for so many reasons. I cannot wait to go to that museum.
Go to
so
the
fucking excited.
Rembrandt Museum as well.
Ooh, okay.
It's very cool.
Amsterdam has a lot of museums.
Yeah. Rembrandt was a
Love museums.
psychopath. It's very
Oh,
cool.
really?
Yeah. He's like
Weird.
a crazy collector, went into all kinds of debt. He has all weird.
Was he one of the?
things.
Was a lot of those painters were terrible to women? Was he one of those or no?
I don't know. I
not.
haven't done that research. I'm only aware of his eclectic collections.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I love an eclectic collection.
Like a hoard. Andy Warhol was like a big hoarder too. They had a room when he died that was just filled with shopping bags that he just went shopping and put the bag in the room and never opened the stuff.
Whoa.
And I love
That's
that.
a fun estate sale.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm so excited for that. Oh God, I love European. I love Europe. Guys, if you want to email us, it's sorryaboutlastnightshow@gmail.com. Today's subject line, dealing with assholes on the internet, advice needed. Hi, Corinne and Krystyna. I need your advice as public figures and role models of mine. I'm in marketing and social media management. I own my own agency. Okay, fuck yeah.
Go off.
It started very small, mostly managing accounts with 2,000 to 5,000 followers for local businesses and small entrepreneurs. Fast forward a few years and my agency has grown quite a bit. We are now managing accounts with 200K to 400K. Are you taking new clients?
I know. I was gonna say. I was like, can you
help us? Because my God, we've been sucking that algorithm's D for a long time.
Can you help? I mean, we'll pay you, obviously.
Yeah. But please help, which is great as these clients are obviously higher paying and we can implement more successful campaigns for them. My problem is that I have a really hard time dealing with the comments people leave on posts that I make. I take a lot of pride in each piece of content that I plan. This is like a bully's dream. Create and post to my clients' channels, and one negative comment can get in my head for days.
Imagine if the comments were actually about you. I mean,
Right,
this
that's
is
true. They
wild.
tell me about you.
This is secondhand anger.
It does. It stings. You get used to it, but it stings. Some of the comments are so extreme and harsh. Yep. I feel taken aback when I see them come through. It's not like these comments happen all that regularly, and my clients are happy with the work I'm doing. Oh, right. So maybe you feel extra bad because it's like happening because of something you're doing on your client's page. That would make me feel like, fuck.
And sometimes it's like, when someone's like mean to you and you're fine with it, but then someone's mean to your friend and you're like pissed. It could be like that.
Totally.
Because I'm like, these don't bother me.
But I can't stop taking every damn comment so personally. Okay, well, this is okay. Any tips for disconnecting from the slew of comments and feedback on public-facing work? How do I stop taking shit that strangers say on the internet as a direct insult to my work? Big props to you both for putting so much of yourself out there. I obviously am barely keeping it together, and I'm just a social media manager hiding behind a public-facing company. Cheers. This is going to happen until the day you die if you choose to stay on social media. And so one of the things that really helped me, I deal with these, I get the comments a bunch, pretty good amounts. Sometimes they're really harsh. Sometimes they're just like, this one girl, it wasn't a comment, it was a DM. She was having a mental health day. And I was like, I'm not here for that. She was saying she didn't like how I talked about a certain subject. And I was like, well, that was my experience with it. And I'm not trying to imply it was anybody else's experience. And then she goes, Beyonce would be ashamed of you. And I was like, no. That comment didn't actually make me upset, but I'm like, oh, fuck you for trying to do that. Fuck you forever. You're blocked. But some of the comment, like the ones that I get that are super harsh are from men trying to say that your fuckability has gone away or whatever the fuck.
Weaponizing it, yeah.
The ones from women hurt me more, but it depends. The way I take that, it depends on my mood that day, honestly. Because if I'm having a great day and somebody says something like that, I'm like, well, you're wrong, and that's obvious, and I don't care. But just know that any comment that anybody makes on the internet, both positive and negative, is just a reflection of them. So if you think about this, like the things that we like in our lives, like each one of us individually, the things that we like and the things that we hate, that's just a reflection of who we are. That's just an extension of us, right? So I have certainly been somebody, as much as I hate online bullying and it feels terrible, I have gone on some dipshit's page to go, I'm going to tell him what I think. And now I've gotten older, I'm like, oh, is this adding to the trash of the internet or adding to the goodness of the internet? It's always adding to the trash. And as somebody who has left bullying comments for sure, and of course I felt righteous and thought I was being right, that's why I fucking did it. The person who leaves this, it's all a reflection of them. I was having a bad day. And the thing that they said pissed me off because it related to something very personal that other guy who said the thing has no idea about. So I suggest reading The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. One of the agreements that I think every human being would benefit so much in implementing is don't take anything personally. He's like, even if somebody comes up to you and shoots you in the head and kills you, that isn't personal. Our lives can be so much more painful than they need to be when we take things personally. So that's my 2 cents.
You can also read So You've Been Publicly Shamed by John Ronson. That's a good one for anyone who has to deal with social media a lot. And I think the things like, for me, none of these comments, negative or positive, sorry, you guys, mean anything
you
to me.
You shouldn't cling to either of them.
It's actually something I've talked about in therapy. I go, the positive feedback and the negative feedback. They both just mean nothing to me.
That's very healthy.
And the only time that a negative comment can get under my skin is when it's something that I was already thinking about myself, whether it be aesthetic or content wise, or, maybe it wasn't the caliber. I needed to post something, but it wasn't the caliber of content that I usually put up, like that kind of thing. Again, very rare, but every now and then someone kind of just gets into that like little bit of insecurity that you were feeling. So that, and then that to me is just like, okay, well, it's just reinforcing something I already knew was an issue that I have to tackle. Yeah. So that's fine. But don't engage. I have a broad rule now that anytime I leave a comment on social media, it has to be something positive. You probably see me around the internet like a nutcase, honestly, leaving like really weirdly positive comments on people's thing. I go out of my way to leave positive comments on female celebrities because the way people talk to women on the internet is disgusting. Yep. And I'm trying to improve their day, somehow. And this goes for the most famous person. It's like, if you think like, Taylor Swift has her comments so that only people who follow her can comment. And that's good. There's a reason for that. Yeah. And then, so it's just, you can't, and also a lot of times, like, I know you have to probably look at the comments because it's your part of your job, but a lot of times, especially when I'm posting like political content, I post it and I keep seeing.
Set and forget it, baby.
I don't look at the comments. I just let people fight amongst themselves. I let other people fight those battles. And also don't block people because that lets them know you want, just restrict them and let them continue the argument by themselves. Big J. Okerson taught me that when I first started comedy, and it's really, I
gotta start doing that. I block them.
It's been beautiful.
But when I block them, I'm not like, gotcha. I'm just like, I don't want you to see anything I do. I just don't want you to see it.
They still can though, because everyone has like a Finsta. It's not going to stop them from seeing you.
Yeah, you got to work harder.
Yeah, I and it's so funny because I can tell. And what the most interesting thing about restricting a lot of people is that the people I restrict are always the first people to be watching my stories. So again, it's that Selena syndrome. Your biggest fans are the people who will say the cruelest things to you.
It's so fucked up.
It's the young women who are the first popping up. And in your stories, if someone was restricted, they're
Can you see it?
Yes, but they're a little bit like lighter. They let the little and so you see it's a restricted account.
They're obsessed.
And I go, oh wow, this is really sad. I feel really sad for you.
Yeah.
That I would never. I just think in my head, I go, I would never say anything like you've said to me to Victoria Beckham.
Yeah. Right.
I would never say anything like that to her.
Yeah. It's wild. It's wild.
I adore her and I respect her, and I would never say something like that to her. And so if you think that fandom means that you have some kind of ownership and you can speak to someone with a level of familiarity, that is untrue. Yeah. You will never hear from me again.
When it gets most frustrating, every once in a while, a comment will get under my skin, but it'll make me pissed off. Sure. And it probably has to do with my mood. So many circumstances, but a lot of times those circumstances can align perfectly, and you are pissed. Course. And I do this thing. My mom used to do this when I was a kid when she was driving, and I fucking loved it. when she would like cut somebody off, like she wasn't a bad driver, but she would, sometimes you change lanes, you kind of have to cut somebody off, and they would get so mad at her, and I would feel the anger from the other car as a child. And when they would pass my mom angrily, she would just go, "Hi," and she would just wave like she didn't know what was happening. And I was like, that's fucking hilarious. So sometimes I will implement that strategy for my own mental health to go like, "Gee, thanks, mister. I didn't know those things," and just respond like a fucking idiot.
Kill them with kindness.
Yeah, or say something really, really nice to them. And I never look at the conversation after that, but that, for me, if you have an anger problem with it, or if it like really gets under your skin, making yourself laugh about it is almost always a cure-all to having that. Like, then that comment won't take up real estate in your head.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely said I hope you heal to people in response. I said I hope you heal. I've said I'm sorry you're having a bad day.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, a new good one. Instead of like, you need help, you deserve help. You deserve
wish you
help,
well.
sir. Yeah.
I wish you well.
Yeah, I wish you well. You deserve help. You earned it.
Wait, Eric, did you had something?
Yeah, I mean, as someone who's managed like some pretty large social accounts.
So you have a lot of intel for us.
Yeah, people who've dealt with like scandals. Sorry, Dan Schneider. It's a hard week for the Schneider account.
Pedophile?
I'm
Wait,
kidding.
did
I'm
you
kidding.
work that?
No, I didn't. I didn't work for him, but I did work.
You didn't
for
get
some,
paid in money, that's for sure.
Nope.
Got paid in spankings.
Life experience. But no, I just kill it with kindness. If you really have to respond, go and.
Sometimes that'll piss that person off more, and I'm like, that
Yeah.
makes me real happy. Now I'm happy.
Yeah, I
I'm
respond with thanks for the engagement.
Yeah. That's a good one. Thanks.
That's true.
For this writer. That's a perfect one since you're the manager, a social media manager. Thanks for the engagement. That's a great one. That's a great tip.
Yeah, I wish people knew like how the internet worked better, because like those like videos where someone makes a recipe that's just terrible. And then everyone comments, "Who the fuck would eat this?" It's like they're making content on purpose that is meaningless to get engagement, and you're all falling for it. And by you making that go viral, you're commenting on it, you're making it go viral, and then you're just you're adding to the fact that more content like this will continue to be made.
Yes,
if
it's
you
like
don't
that dress,
like something,
the blue dress or gray dress,
don't comment on it.
Yeah.
You are inspiring the person to make more of it. You're not taking a stand. No one's changing their vote from Trump to Biden because you left a comment, you fucking psychopath. All right? Relax.
That's so true. Good stuff. Relax and subscribe to my Patreon. I host a weekly Zoom therapy for an hour every single week, where you just get whatever's off your chest. It's not a substitute for therapy in any way, and I'm not a licensed therapist. But boy, oh boy, does it feel good to just get shit off your chest to a bunch of strangers, and they listen, and then you hear other people's problems, and you're like, okay, perspective. Welcome to my head. Let's go. And then every Monday, I have my solo podcast, The Voices in Our Heads, comes out with Mikey Big Dick Don Coscarelli, who is on the microphone during all the episodes and has a lot of sound effects to add to the show. So listen up.
He doesn't need a soundboard. He is a soundboard.
Yes, he is.
Oh my God. And if you want to listen to my political show, Without a Country, tune in every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, or you can listen wherever you listen to podcasts, Luminary, Apple, Spotify, etc. We talk about the top news stories of the week from the perspective of the extreme right, the extreme left, and everything in between. It's been great. So many, I feel like just like recently, so many more people have been saying like, I love this podcast, or I just started listening to this podcast. It's my favorite. Someone told me that over the weekend that they put their parents on to that podcast.
Nice.
So I really appreciate that. As you know, I've been really getting into just seeking the truth. Like that's always been a very important thing to me. And I think that we have lost sight of that politically. So seeking the truth, whether that aligns with how you stand politically or not, I would like to know what the truth is. That's important to me. And if it's important to you, you'll like Without a Country podcast.
Nice.
All right.
Dude.
Yes.
I'll preface this with saying I'm not a doctor, and I'm not giving medical advice in any way. I'm just talking about my experience. I want to be very clear on that.
Okay.
I talked to, do you know Mike Fenoya?
Yeah.
So I did his podcast
Oh, this is about ketamine, isn't it?
Yeah, ketamine infusions.
When I heard Mike Fenoya, I knew it was about ketamine.
Bro. So he, I guess, had a similar year to me of like just wanting to die for like a whole year straight.
Yeah,
and
he
just
was telling me about it.
Like, I'm like, well, I've never talked to somebody who had it like that. That's exactly what I had. And he was telling me he got ketamine infusions, and he was telling me his wife or his girlfriend, I forget which one.
I think it's his wife.
I think it's his wife too. Was like so good. The way he was describing how she was being there for him, but in a way that wasn't like, I'm not trying to fix you, but like, you're gonna be okay. I'm like, damn, your wife's a G. The way he talked about it and how grounded he was when he talked about it, I was like, what the fuck? So I got the name of the place in the area, and I've gotten 2 ketamine infusions. Holy shit.
How are they injecting it? Like with needle?
Intravenously.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like an IV. So like when you go up to get a saline solution. So it's basically a saline bag, and they take a vial and they weigh you, and that's how they calculate it.
What part of the body? Arm?
Yep.
Okay.
Right there.
Is it more intense than when you're doing it nasally?
I've never done it nasally.
Oh,
I've
okay.
done it with.
We're talking about professional shit, not whatever you did at Coachella.
Yeah,
Eric.
and I
Never
think
been
there
to
is.
Coachella.
Really? Your face says otherwise. I think there's so much value to doing psychedelic drugs that have proven results in a therapeutic setting, and I think you should. I get that it's fun to do them in a non-therapeutic setting, but like now that I've done them in a therapeutic setting, like I can't believe I did mushrooms and went to the Tool concert. Like that's just not where I want to do those drugs. But like I didn't know yet. I didn't know what was going on.
Yo, I had a fucking, I had
great
a realization that night though. I mean, I got to the next level at that Tool concert.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
But like I guess for myself, I would rather have done the drug in a therapeutic setting first, so
You
that
didn't
I
do
understood.
ketamine though at the Tool concert, right?
No.
Okay.
No, but I was just like, I was tripping.
Oh yeah,
I
me
was
too.
fucking tripping.
You
balls.
saw me in the dog bed.
Oh yeah, crying. Like, it's time to go. We need to go. I'm like, I know.
Was I wrong? I was not wrong.
You're absolutely right. But I know I talked about the ayahuasca thing. And this is only my experience, so I'm not trying to impede on anybody else's experience. But my God, this drug has been so valuable almost instantaneously, which is a little like, I'm still in shock. I've done 2 infusions. The last one was Friday. And then the thing is, they recommend, and I've looked on the internet and multiple people have recommended the same regimen, but I'm like, dude, this is such an intense drug. It is very intense. And they're like, do them like, you can either do them back to like buy a 5 infusion package and do them between 24 and 48 hours apart. I'm like, nah, it's too intense. Like I personally don't want to do that. They're saying that for a reason. I'm sure there's benefit, but this drug is you go somewhere else. And it is, I felt like the best way I could describe it is all of the ways that my brain, the human brain does this, but I think when you experience like trauma and PTSD, that's one of the reasons why I took it. It's really great for PTSD, anxiety, depression. And the way my brain categorizes things immediately of like, oh, this is a person you know, this is a good person. My mind is always doing that. No matter, like every second of the day, my mind is always doing that. It's so fucking exhausting. It's just being on high alert. That shut off the second you go into a K-hole, which I didn't really know what that was. And now I'm like, okay, now I know what that is.
I can point it out. It's getting fast.
The fact that anybody would do ketamine recreationally, I don't understand that. A K-hole are you fucking, because when in the therapeutic setting, this is one of the values of it. I didn't have an integration session afterwards, which I do recommend. I had that with the ayahuasca, and there's a lot of value to that because you kind of piece together what happened.
Did you like opt out of the integration session?
No, they just didn't offer it.
Oh, okay.
But I talked to Mike about it, and he was like, he said, for me, days after I did it, I noticed I was thinking differently in a really positive way, and I was like, days, that's amazing. And so I had a journal. I journaled before and after, just in case, I could get any benefit from that. So in the therapeutic setting, I had a weighted blanket, I had an eye mask, and I had headphones in with a really soothing music. So that's why I say I don't understand how anybody could be in a K-hole at a concert. We're made of different material. It is so intense. But I have noticed, so I've done 2 of them, and in the past The first one was about a week ago. One of the things that I noticed that I'm like, holy shit. And I'm pretty sure this is because of this, because this is a new development in my kind of healing. And I think it all feeds into itself, like all the things that I've been doing over the years. But I have been able, 2 small instances that were actually really, really, really big for me, that I was able to transcend shame, my own shame and my own embarrassment over how I've behaved. I sent a person an apology email that I should have sent 5 years ago.
Wow.
But I was able to not victimize myself and not make excuses and not tell this person all the things that I was going through, because they don't fucking need to know that.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. Is this what discernment is like? I think this is what discernment is like. Like, I could very confidently go, I need to write that person an email and I need to apologize, and it needs to be brief and no excuses. It didn't take me even long to draft the email. It was short and sweet, and it didn't transfer blame. I was like, fuck, I've always wanted to apologize in this way.
Oh, that's awesome.
When I apologize to people, I'm so caught up in my own guilt that I probably inadvertently make them feel bad. And it's like, it's not about me.
Yeah.
So I was able to kind of like transcend that for the first time. It was unbelievable. And I was oddly, like, I put off sending that email because I was so ashamed of how I behaved. I was so embarrassed, but I'm like, it's not about you, motherfucker. It's about you.
That's how you know it's a real apology. I don't think
Right.
I'm thinking, I'm like, yeah, I don't like apologies because I don't think I've ever received a good one. So to me, they're like, you know,
Right.
And it's just like, and I've written one good apology and like, it feels so good.
It's wild. I mean, this is the book. I think I mentioned this months ago.
Yeah.
Why Won't You Apologize by Harriet Lerner.
Oh, yes.
Fantastic book about the value of a good apology, what a good apology looks like, what the skeleton of a good apology is, and what
Right.
a bad apology is.
Right.
And you know what? One of the reasons why I can't talk to my parents is because the really traumatic things
Right.
that I went through, when I went to bring them up to them, they went more into denial. It's like my feelings didn't matter, or like I was caring about something I shouldn't. And
Yeah, you've shown me text messages where like it's like oh, we started an apology,
Yeah.
and then we got distracted,
reverted. But I'm like, honestly, that hurt more than the fucking thing you did. That hurt more than the thing you did.
Interesting.
And I never quite could articulate that until I read the apology book, because I'm like, wow, when you actually apologize to somebody in an effective, genuine way, you can heal. Doesn't mean you might not ever see the person again.
For sure.
But you can both heal.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we give that gift to each other?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. So that's one of the huge things that I was like, fuck, man.
And
I've been wanting to behave like this forever.
Was this something that you think about often, or did it kind of just like, did the ketamine like push this particular thing to the front of your brain?
So
or
I saw the person.
Oh, okay.
And I haven't seen them in a long time.
Interesting.
And normally, any other day, really, I would have been so ashamed that I didn't apologize and the behavior from the past that I would have left where we were. I would have left the place we were at, or I would have like ignored them. And I got so good at convincing myself I was behaving differently than I was actually behaving. And it was scary. And so I would have continued that without hesitation. I would have done that.
Interesting.
And I was able to take them in. I didn't talk to them, but I took them in and I go, okay, you're feeling some things. What are these? Okay, you're really embarrassed about how you behave. Why? Because it doesn't align with your morals and values. You never apologized to this person, and they're probably still very frustrated with you.
Interesting.
How about you give them an opportunity, like if they want to air it out, give them an opportunity to do that and say you're sorry and be short and sweet about it. And I was, it wasn't even hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't easy, but it wasn't hard. And I was
Sure.
like, holy shit. And then the other thing I did, it was just,
Sorry, can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
Did they reply?
I don't think so.
But how long ago was it?
I sent it yesterday.
Oh, so you just sent it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, it's a new update.
Never mind. Okay.
They haven't replied yet. But then I went, I'm like, they might not reply.
Oh,
they
no,
might,
yeah, they
might
might
go, fuck you. That's okay. That's okay. And I didn't do it for me. Like I did it because I felt like I wronged this person, and maybe there's a chance that me letting them know that I know that would make them feel better in some way. I don't know.
Sure.
So that, and then last night I was, Colin and I had a spot. The show was supposed to start at 7 p.m. and we were going to go to Tarrytown to see this woman, Madison Cunningham, fantastic musician. He loves her, and we wanted to see her live. She's really good. And so I was like, okay, got to the venue, and the hosts were like, oh, we're actually not starting until 7:30. We say 7 on the flyer. I was like, okay, can I go? I had asked to go first. They said yes. By the time I got on stage, it was 8:15. The concert was at 8. And I was texting with Colin, and I was like, for some reason, I don't know why, but if I make somebody else late, oh God, I'd rather, and I go, Colin, I will pay $300 for an Uber if it means that you're not late to this concert, because the anxiety is really tough. Obviously do what you want, but like, I am more than happy if you don't want to be late for this concert to do that. And he goes, no, it's okay, whatever. And then I didn't go on stage until way later, and then we couldn't go to the concert. We missed the concert. And normally I would have gotten so, I don't even know what the emotions would be, but I know how I would react. I would have reacted like, I'm so sorry, like I fuck everything. I just would have gone there. I would have gone to this, like, I guess victimhood or something.
Sure.
And I was able to go, oh, I know this slide. Don't slide down it.
Right.
Don't do it. You didn't do anything wrong. You gave them the information. You said if you wanted to go. And I was just able to healthily move through a tiny moment that would have fucked up the night.
Yeah, because bottom line is, if he really wanted to go, he would have fucking gone.
Exactly.
He's a grown man.
Yes, and for the longest time, my logic has known these things.
Yeah.
But my inner child, I don't know what it is, inner child trauma, whatever the fuck it is, oftentimes is in the driver's seat. And it's so frustrating. And that's one of the reasons why it's so embarrassing, is because I'm like, I know better. Why am I not acting better? And I just didn't get paralyzed normally when I would. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm not saying that ketamine infusion is a cure-all by any means, but I've never been on depression or anxiety meds, but holy fuck, this is a very valuable treatment for a lot of people suffering with anxiety and PTSD.
How long? Because it's interesting, because I had looked into it, because it became kind of like there was a couple places around New York City, and when I was like in the depths of my depression, I was like, I need help.
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and then of course, I mean, this was not helpful. They were like, we have a wait list. I go,
oh, they do?
That was that. And there's much more now.
Yeah.
And it's funny, because I was talking to Mike Fenoya about it as well. And like,
you can get a nurse to come to your house.
Well, I'm so curious about it. But the thing is, I on my own then just ended up getting to like the best place. And so
that's awesome.
And so I can't take it now because I'm too worried, because I don't want to fuck up what I'm sure it probably would just be, but I'm like,
yeah,
I've literally
just be great.
Never felt this good before. So we don't want to take any chances.
Yeah. Totally.
Because I don't need more. This is enough.
Yeah.
I actually don't need more. I'm great, but I'm so curious about, because like, it's
fucking transformative.
So where are you going?
I don't know.
Have you done acid?
I microdosed it, but it didn't do anything, so I don't know.
Oh, then you didn't take enough.
At Skankfest, okay. I microdosed it, and it did. Like, I was laughing so hard at the Bob Saget song.
You didn't fully trip though, because
No,
I took
anything.
almost the same piece of acid as you,
but it was awesome.
From Kim's mouth. yeah,
sick.
So
I love Skankfest.
Well, I was like, "Do you have any more?" And then she just took it out of her mouth, and I said, "That worked."
Sure. Yeah. So I've never, but I've done mushrooms. And mushrooms,
because the only time I went to a different place was DMT. I haven't taken enough mushrooms or acid. And I mean, I took a good amount, like where I was like tripping, but I didn't go anywhere else.
You can't not go to another place here. It's beautiful.
What's going on at that place though?
There's patterns. There's, I don't know how to describe it.
It's detachment. It's very disassociative.
Dissociation.
So did you do therapeutic ketamine, or did you do just fucking boy ketamine?
I just did
boy ketamine,
boy rave ketamine.
Okay.
That it was.
I can't imagine being in a fucking public space on ketamine, dude.
Oh, it was very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a great time. Yeah, it was great, but
you weren't injecting it into your veins, so maybe it's different.
It's a lot less intense.
What you taking it in orally?
No, you snort it.
I don't.
Okay. Well, when I took the mind,
we don't condone snorting of anything on Guys We Fucked.
No. Oh God.
We have a snort-free policy on this show.
Yes, we do. No snorting in our studio. When I took the oral ketamine, I could see that being enjoyable at a party, maybe, because that was just like a glass of wine kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like, did you also take the oral in this space?
No, just the intravenous.
Oh.
And it was 45 minutes was the infusion.
Is someone in the room with you the whole time?
So I did the first one. I went to the place. There's also a place you could get Botox. I'm like, this feels weird, but the people were really fucking cool. And so I liked them a lot. And then afterwards, I was in Queens, and afterwards I was like walking around, and they were like, don't drive afterwards. I'm like, yeah, no, I can barely walk. I'm not going to drive. Don't worry. But after when I was coming out of it for the first time, I was just so happy.
Oh, wow.
I'm happy now. Like I haven't been depressed in a really long time. But
This is so interesting to learn, because when I walked in the studio today, I said, this bitch seems very happy.
So happy.
It was markedly, and then
Really?
and again, not that you had seemed unhappy,
Yeah.
but you just seemed
I'm just grounded. I feel like I'm in my
Happier.
body. I feel like I'm in my body.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking around for things that I did wrong or things that could go bad.
Right.
My fight or flight's off.
Right.
It's fucking incredible.
Right.
And I cannot tell you how fucking potent this is, but I hesitate because I don't want to try to pitch this as a panacea for like a cure all.
It's also like a little expensive.
It's $500.
Yeah, so it's not
That's not
unaffordable.
cheap,
Yeah, for some people.
But Jesus Christ, the fact that something exists,
Right.
a treatment exists that could give you results that immediately, wow.
And now, what's the maintenance on this? Like, what do they say? Like, are you just going through like a couple and then you stop doing it, or like, what's the?
I don't know. So I'm just kind of winging it and seeing how I feel.
Right.
So I got the first treatment. It was super intense, beautiful, and amazing. I came out and I was like, I made a video. I just started. Thank God it wasn't a live video, but I was like, I'm just gonna make a video. And I said, I went through. I go, I love Kevin. I love Colin. I love
That's so
Corinne. I love
sweet. comedy.
and I was trying to get all the K's, the C's and K's in my life. And I was like,
thanks for including me.
I love ketamine. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's gonna be. We're gonna use that. We're gonna use that. I can't wait.
And I was making all these funny fucking videos. Yeah, I haven't watched them back yet, but I gotta watch them. But so I did the one on Tuesday, and then the second one was on Friday. That was an at-home one.
So that's pretty close together. Yeah.
Yeah, but they were like, do it 24 hours apart or 48. I'm like, nah, I'm not. I don't. That's too intense. It's a very intense, and it's not like I didn't like confront any sadness. The nurse, the at-home session nurse said, she goes, oh, it's really beautiful. This client that I've been seeing, she bought like a six package session, whatever. And the fourth one was her breakthrough session. And I was like, what's that? And then I Googled it. I'm like, oh, okay. You can have a breakthrough session where it's just something, you have such a major click. But I had all these clicks, like tiny clicks that were so monumental, and they were things that my logical brain has known this whole time, because like I do a lot of reading. I read 5 books at a time. I love reading because I love like when 5 different authors say the same thing in a different way. I'm like, holy shit, guys, this is truth. Like this is something that's super true, and it's really exciting to me. And so these little clicks that happen, I'm like we all are just here. We all want to be loved, and we all want to love, and we all want to express ourselves. And the bad people are the ones that need the biggest hug. And that's something I've always felt. But like, I really like felt that in a beautiful way. It was just. But she said this woman, one of her patients had a breakthrough, and I forget what the connection that she particularly had made, but I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. I didn't even know about that. But I've only had 2. I want to get a package, but I'm like, I don't want one soon, because time stops too. Like I'm like, did 5 hours pass? Like, what's happening?
Dude, that's exactly, okay, so that's like DMT. It's because it's 15 minutes almost to the fucking dot, and I felt like I was gone for 3 hours.
Yeah. It's wild. It's really weird. And then when you're back on like time, like Earth time, you're like, oh, whoa, like time, we're so stressed out about time. Ain't nothing stressed about. But I remember that bad mushroom trip that I went on that I had, Justin Silver had to call you and Wendy Starling over because I was on suicide watch.
Would be hard to forget, Krystyna. Yes. Yes, I think I do recall that.
Don't meet a child soldier in the ER and he tells you he grows really strong mushrooms, and do them with him on Roosevelt Island.
Listen, I was happy because you just ordered so much seamless.
So much pizza. I remember that pizza. I remember there was that white sauce pizza I ordered.
Yeah.
But one of the things I kept saying, I don't know if you were there for this yet, but I went to the mushroom trip, and it was the only bad trip I've ever been on. And I kept going for 8 hours straight. Am I a good person or a bad person? And I couldn't figure out which one it was
in front of me.
And so that feeling popped
That's
up
so
again in both the treatments, but in a very subtle way. And it's like, the answer was right there immediately. And it wasn't me talking to myself. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just knowledge that I've always known or something. It's like, there is no good or bad. We are so obsessed in human world as categorizing things, people, places, events as good or bad, as groups. Guess what? Donald Trump, he's not good or bad. Joe Biden, I'm just trying to think of hot button issues, not good or bad. Being pro-choice.
They're just like all here for a reason,
things.
kind of following what they need to learn. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're all here to learn, and Earth is a very tough school, but we are here. And I get so obsessed with categorizing things, and there's just no need to do that. I fucking cannot sing the praises of therapeutic ketamine infusion enough.
Wow. Damn.
I want to win the lottery so I could start a fund to give people who can't afford this the experience, because especially people with PTSD, everybody who served in the military deserves to have a free package for life.
That's for
Anybody who has
I get so fucking mad. I saw this person was getting on the fucking plane in Georgia without legs, and it was a young person. I go, I just know this is from the fucking military. And I was like,
man.
and what have they fucking done to help him? I was so fucking mad about that.
And any job, I imagine, firefighters, police officers, any job that you're put in a traumatic fucking circumstances, you should have this as a companion to that job, because it is a way to come to terms with whatever experiences you've had and go, it's okay. And then you go, and then beyond that, you go, what beautiful things I've learned from these experiences that I have had. So I can look at that Rod Stewart Cheers Nancy autograph, and I'm not mad in any way. I'm like, yay, give it.
Rod wasn't mad. He said cheers.
Yeah, he was so excited.
He was so excited.
He looks great.
He looks
fucking
great.
Probably 70 in that photo.
Yeah.
What a daddy. Zaddy.
Damn.
So yeah.
Wow. That sounds fantastic.
How are you?
I was gonna say, well, off that, you know who hasn't had ketamine therapy? People commenting on Instagram.
Not at all. And I want that for them. They deserve it.
Well, this will come out in a little bit, but Tortured Poets Department came out this week while I was on tour.
And this is coming out Friday on Luminary.
Oh, so we're already there. Okay, so this is great. So it came out while I was in Florida, which was perfect because she did have a song called Florida, ! With Florence and the Machine. Great. One of my favorites from the album. And, I love Taylor Swift albums, but I'm old enough that they don't hit me in the same way. For me, my heavy, listening albums were Alanis Morissette, where I was really going through my feelings and where she was really feeling things that I was feeling. I love Taylor Swift. She doesn't often convey feelings that I've felt. I mean, in a poppy sense, like 1989. But I was really looking forward to Tortured Poets Department because, if there's one thing that I have a honorary degree in, it's breakups. And we knew this was going to be the breakup album. Joe Alwyn breakup, Maddie Healy breakup.
Oh, right.
And then obviously new romance with Travis Kelce, which, I'm the least interested in. And, listening to her songs, she's also the least interested in.
Happiness doesn't make good art.
Love is a boring song. And so this, I don't know, people seem to maybe not like it as much as they like Midnights or whatever. I don't care what other people think. The album just really it literally added the tour was already, leg one of the tour was already fucking amazing. And I felt like I reached a new level artistically, but this album coming out while I was on the road, there was something special about, listening to it while you're out kind of doing your thing, living your dream in a hotel room. And it literally took my experience to the next level.
Ooh,
so
having your ketamine.
Yeah. Having a supplemental art piece that was not my own art, to be the soundtrack to leg one of this tour was just so incredible. I thought I was highly vindicated in the song But Daddy I Love Him, because Taylor wrote a fuck you to all the fans who had so much to say about her dating Matt Healy. And our friend Ashanti, she messaged me and she goes, "You were fucking right, Corinne." She was like, "Everything you said is in this fucking song." And good for her, because unlike me, I know it took a lot for Taylor to say fuck you to the people who have done so much. And while I acknowledge that obviously we need listeners and fans and everything to do this. I have no problem saying fuck you when people, because
when they don't understand, they misunderstand you in a deliberate way.
Well, it was very interesting because you'll hear in a later episodes, but we just interviewed Liz Mealy and we were talking a lot about living in the moment. And I've gotten over it, but it really brought up some old feelings I had about the prime days, the highest heights of our success for Guys We Fucked around 2017, 2018.
I was thinking about those yesterday,
and I couldn't enjoy them because because of the way people supposedly in quotes fans acted towards us. And, part of it is having grown up in a nice space. And so I was used to when I succeeded, people being happy for me. And it's so interesting to want to be famous for being an artist your whole life, and then finally getting a taste of that and really realizing that everyone, even people who say they love you, will go out of your way to take that enjoyment away from you. And I was just so unprepared for that reaction from others because it is, I just can't even think of reacting that way. I've certainly been like, ugh, that person doesn't deserve that. But I've never tried to take success, even from people I hate.
In your head.
Yeah. I've never tried to actively ruin someone's success for them.
Right.
In that way. I guess there could be isolated incidents where you could argue that I was trying to affect someone's joy, in a new relationship because I had unfinished business with their partner. I guess that's the closest I've gotten to doing that to someone else. And I don't regret those because we had unfinished business. Fuck you. But yeah. And so I was and it took me a long time to heal that resentment that I felt for people really trying to not only rain, fucking hail and monsoon on this thing that I had worked up and sacrificed so much to achieve. And then also, person I was dating at the time also tried to take the joy away from that. So it was really quite interesting. And so it was, I was even healed through Taylor being I was proud of Taylor,
right.
She is younger than me
And she's the kind of person that, like you said, it would be harder for her to do that.
Yeah,
it's a bold move.
The perfectionism that she has resonates a lot with me, but she just cares so much about what people think, and that does not at all resonate with me. And so I was just so proud of her that even in the public eye, literally all eyes on her, I know how hard it was for her to get to this level of saying fuck you, I did like him, and fuck what everyone else said. And and yes, she ended up not liking him and being hurt by him, but that was on her own terms.
She needed to find that out on her own. Yes, exactly.
The same way as James ended up hurting me, but he didn't hurt me for any of the reasons that anyone thought he would hurt me.
Right.
Right. And I again, a lot of resentment there for people trying to not allowing me to live in the moment. And I was so happy, so much of that relationship. And so that was really wonderful. And then also, there was, Taylor's at a level of fame that people just want to bring her down a notch. And it's
y'all haters.
It's just I don't know what's just, I
gotta say,
I don't know what that is. Makes me so sad for humanity.
Well, it's jealousy. It's jealousy, but it's it's jealousy and emotional immaturity at the same time. It's being jealous of somebody that oftentimes can be totally healthy depending on how you handle it.
Sure.
That just means you want something. That's okay.
Oh, one of the only times I've been jealous of someone in recent years is when I was sitting at the Taylor Swift concert. Mm-hmm. And it's hilarious because it's this is in this lifetime, that is an unreachable level of fame for me. I don't really think that there's 80,000 people are getting together in a stage, and that's not me. It's just not.
Yeah.
You can feel that within yourself. I think I have a lot of power. I think I have more to go. I don't know that I'm not selling out arenas in this lifetime, and I'm fine with that. Yeah. But I was there is a part of you that goes, wow, like maybe if I had started earlier or, done a little bit more, like what, but there's also like, I don't possess a talent that fills stadiums. Like comedy doesn't fill, especially not for women, doesn't.
If you're guys, I was going to say, yeah, if you're.
Not 80,000 for 5 nights
Bert
in a
Kreischer.
row.
Oh, 5 nights?
He's
Maybe
not even close. 80, no. Like these are.
Yeah, 80,000 is wild. That's a football stadium.
It's just you're not reaching that
Yeah.
level. I can't sing, so it's not happening.
Yeah, that's kind of, music's the only art form that does that.
Right. And so,
and sports.
And it's like, it's just so, it's like, what are you jealous? I was just like, I'm so jealous that she was able to touch specifically that many women in that way.
Totally.
Like what a fucking beautiful, amazing achievement. And, there was just so many, there was like specifically it was an article I think that Cut did on all the things we learned about the Maddie Healy breakup from Taylor Swift's new album. And there was so many comments with a real pick me girl energy, kind of just being like, well, she's the most famous pop star in the world and she's always trashing all the guys she's dated. And we only get to hear one side of the story. And like, this is all true, right? And they were like, it's character assassination against Maddie Healy. And I'm like, well, first of all, Maddie Healy is also in a super famous band in 1975.
He can
so
say
if
his
he
part.
wants to write a response, he can write a response. And also the difference between men and women in this heterosexual sphere. Well, we don't really know what Maddie Healy is, but he's always fucking kissing random people. But is that men, especially the straight white men that she dates, they're usually pretty unaffected by character assassination. And Taylor herself has survived and come back from character assassination. It's a theme on her album. She writes a thank you to Kim Kardashian for the healing that she mistakenly gave her for Kim consistently bullying her.
That was very interesting.
And it was just so interesting because I started thinking, because I was like, I thought about that too. I thought about like, wow, like, anyone who dates Taylor Swift and it doesn't kind of go well, like they're getting a song written about them and they're going to get a group of women attacking them. But then I was like,
don't behave like an asshole.
Well, but first of all, I have men just don't really experience character assassination in the same way. Even I was thinking about O.J. Simpson. He literally murdered 2 people and died without character assassination.
Yep,
like,
that is correct. That is correct.
He became like a silly pop culture figure. Sometimes even I would see him on Twitter and I would laugh and I'm like, and then I'm thinking,
it's just OJ.
He fucking decapitated. Her head was flopping off her fucking body. Ron Goldman was 25 years old doing a good deed, bringing a pair of glasses to her. He was an aspiring actor. His whole world was ripped away.
Yep.
This guy was making funny, silly videos from the golf course.
You have to be Harvey Weinstein or Cosby to get character assassinated.
Meanwhile,
you really do.
Meanwhile, a woman, whatever you think of her, Kathy
Woman
Griffin
had a bad day and called somebody a bitch.
Yeah, Kathy Griffin held a dummy with ketchup on it of Trump's head. Ends up on the no-fly list. The amount of it is. We are just constantly looking at excuses to character assassinate women, and then the second part of what I thought of that is like every person Taylor Swift dates as a society, we felt like that tarnished her. I didn't feel that way, but many people in society felt that like it tarnished her. It took away her value, right? Whereas Maddie Healy can date as many people as he wants. And the thing is, these songs will have no effect on Maddie Healy getting laid or someone being overzealous to be his girlfriend. Yeah. There will be a line around the block of people to be Maddie Healy's girlfriend, no matter what he did, no matter what he said, and no matter how he treated Taylor, and no matter what parts of these songs are true, and no matter what Taylor did in return. And I'm just like, I don't know. What is it going to take for women to realize it? Because it's all women in the comments saying these negative things.
I know.
It's all women saying this.
I think
you don't need to defend Maddie Healy, okay?
Right.
You don't need to. I defended him against Taylor's fans. I did do that on my podcast because I had experienced something so similar.
Right.
Obviously much lower, smaller scale.
No, it's the same.
But yeah, and so I was angry for her because I was like, I don't know if Taylor, and that's why I'm so proud of her, because I had been previously angry on her behalf, but she rose to the occasion and she was angry for herself, and I was so happy for her because I know how important it is for her to be liked by other people and to do well, and for her album to do well, and all these things that are not important to me. I like when I do well, but I'm much more concerned with putting out art that feels authentic to me. And if people don't like it, people don't fucking like it. And that's the end of the end. I mean, even my jokes on Instagram, it's like, I've had ones go viral. It's not the best ones. I think that you guys have bad, like a lot of times
Sometimes
I'm like,
the ones that go viral, you're like, that wasn't even funny,
yeah.
dude.
I'm like, sometimes I'm just like, well, I mean, I try to put up stuff that they don't think it's funny, but it's like, I was just talking with my friend like this last night. I'm like, my really, really well-crafted jokes, that's like not, I'm like the one that I'm like, oh, this is the one, you know? And it's always something completely different.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, I don't even share the same artistic taste with fucking people.
Yeah.
So
sometimes I think that when I'm on stage and I'm like, this is just a one-off and it gets the biggest laugh.
like you tell a joke that's like one of your cheaper jokes and you're just like, this is what you like, you fucking no taste idiots, you fucking garbage munchers.
Yeah.
Ugh. Ugh. And then I'm
so
like, I don't
funny.
even want to make you laugh anymore.
Yeah. Oh God.
But yeah, it's just, I'm just constantly
for her.
observing the way women are treated out in the world. And yeah, today, like before I left, it was like Maddie Healy's aunt was like defending him. And I was like, no, Maddie Healy will be
gives a
fine.
fuck?
And he has an audience and he has a platform. And if he wants to do a response album, I support him in that.
Yeah, of course.
Write a response. I would love to hear your side of the story.
Yeah. Put your creative expression to it.
Do it, baby.
I also like the idea of like, I like women calling out other women for behavior that they believe was absolutely unfair and like not like being afraid that like, you just can say the cat fight. Like the cat fight. Oh God, I fucking hated that. When I was in middle school and high school and a guy would say that, I would get so fucking angry. I'm like, just because I'm disappointed in a woman doesn't mean it's a fucking cat fight.
Well, they love it. It's another way to weaponize and publicize this women hate women. Like they basically, I think many men have come to this thing where like, oh, well, even women hate women, so we can also treat them badly.
Yeah, man.
And we can use that if we pit them against each other, they will all be at our beck and call.
Yeah, and it's so weird because when we talk about men that behave poorly in this way, it is not like I don't keep any men. I have a lot of men in my life. None of them would behave that way. Maybe at a weak bad day, but I've never encountered that. I'm like, there are a lot. Like, oh God, the men that do that are just, they really upset me.
Yeah.
And it's so even men are like, yeah, the worst of us are so bad. It's bad. And it sucks.
It's not good, guys.
But you know who's good?
Today's guest.
Absolutely, she is.
She is.
She's a stand-up comedian. She's host of the show, Hot and Single. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show,
Steph Dag.